Welcome, citizen, to another Starcraft Nation broadcast. I'm your host, Venerati, and today we're going to be seeing another matchup from FoanWang. This time, though, he will be going up against ROOTQxc's teammate, QXC. So QXC will see if he can do a little bit better job of taking on FoanWang than his buddy could right there. As we saw FoanWang overcome ROOTQxc with just a massive horde of roaches. And when you thought there were enough roaches, there were more roaches and more roaches. So, will we see roaches again? Well, only time will see. Though, I don't think they'd be as effective against the Terran threat as they would be against the Protoss. But, what do you have going on? FoanWang actually throwing his Overlord in the exact correct direction to figure out what exactly QXC will be doing this early on, so not having to throw the drone out there too early. ROOTQxc, of course, will be walling off. Very crucial going up against the Zerg players. Don't want those Zerg inside your base. But interesting enough, though, with the fact that we are in Delta Quadrant, we have an interesting proposition for the Zerg players. Do you take the supposed natural expansion outside, or you take the natural expansion on the inside? If you take the natural expansion on the inside, it's going to take those Zerglings quite some time, so it's going to throw your timing off if you do a FE build. So you see a lot of players actually choose to do a one base early, not actually grabbing this one because it's way out here in the open. You have all of this surface area to attack it with. It's one of the more difficult ones to actually defend. So right now we actually have QXC coming into the main base of FoanWang. We'll be seeing what exactly is going on, and we'll be able to react hopefully correctly, for his sake, not for FoanWang's sake. QXC, though, throwing down the barracks here with the positioning. Looks like he's actually be throwing down a tech lab here to seal it off, maybe with another supply depot right there. So QXC, of course, putting the rally on this Overlord. This Overlord, seeing that this is actually producing a Marine, will be trying to run for its life. Meanwhile, the Orbital Command will be coming online here relatively soon. We did actually see QXC grab a refinery before the Orbital Command, so we'll be seeing some sort of tech coming out of him. Probably, of course, this Marine will not actually be able to throw down on this Overlord and knock it out of the sky. So sitting there right outside of range, we actually see another Overlord lumbering out of FoanWang's base. So FoanWang looking to try to get some good battlefield awareness here. Not wanting any sort of ninja expansions going down. And woe to that SCV, did it just get owned by these Zerglings. So FoanWang now has 4 Zerglings on the field. Will be poking around. Of course, these Zerglings won't be enough to really do anything to QXC, but he will be able to scout out with them and apply some pressure. Kind of psych QXC out, forcing QXC to react. FoanWang, though, looking... Yep, there we go. We actually see him will be taking the hatchery. So choosing to take that external hatchery, not wanting to actually... take that backdoor expansion. We actually see a bunker coming down for QXC. So QXC looks like he will be digging in here on the front door. I would not be surprised if we saw him take this destructible breeze down and take the expansion right there. We actually have the factory finishing up here right now. Will we see a starport? We see a lot of starport action from QXC. And yes, here we go. Looking at his past games, see a lot of Banshee harassment coming from QXC, using those Banshees to the fullest, harassing those mineral lines and making sure to not allow his opponent just to kind of get that restful macro ability, especially going up against the Zerg, because if you don't kind of kick them in the face a couple of times as far as macro goes, they are just going to spread like wildfire. So right there, we actually have the Queen dropping one right there, and that is very scary as the Creep Terminal will be finishing up there. And it's actually very important to connect your bases, especially when you have this kind of distance and the fact that it's so exposed. You want to be able to transport your units, especially these Queens, because this early on, the Queens will actually make quite a bit of difference. And meanwhile, though, as I'm talking about the Queens, we actually have the Zerglings kind of coming up here as we see one Zergling actually got squashed there on the ramp as these... Marines were more than happy to oblige that Zergling's death. And what do we have going on? We don't actually have Banshees coming out of the starport. We have a medevac. So the medevac will be leaning towards potential drops, and drops can be very deadly on this map, especially with the high ground on this expansion right here. But of course, that's not actually taken by FoanWang, so it won't be a potential threat for him at this moment. We do actually have the medevac coming out there, and where is that Overlord? The Overlord was right there, so maybe able to catch a hares. We did actually see FoanWang reacting, actually coming over here, looking to take the destructible debris. And yes, we actually have ROOTQxc taking the high ground, but I don't really think it's going to be doing him much good right now, as that distance... Ooh, there we go. That's not what we want. As the distance is going to be very, very difficult for him to hit and make it really... well, it's not going to be that effective, period. Even though with the range of 13... Oh, this Overlord will be caught out in the open. So, yes, that Overlord will be going down, and it's 100 minerals to wasted. So, yes, we'll actually have the... these two, maybe... No, actually, yes, just those two mineral fields locked down right there. So, not going to be super effective, but it's going to be annoying nonetheless, as QXC is kind of edging out here with these 4 Marines, seeing what he can do with it. This one Queen engaging, but there she goes. Boom, and she's down for the count. Meanwhile, though, FoanWang is preparing quite the counterattack, as we have 12 Banelings and 10 more Zerglings on the way, and these Banelings will be more than enough to plow through this front door. And I'm not really sure, though, with the leftovers, though. These Zerglings are just too few in number, I think, to really be that effective, as we have these 2 tanks left over right here. So, with the fact that that drop really not being that effective, here we go. We have more Zerglings entering this army right here, as we have a medevac carting off more units to the expansion. And here we go, we have impacts on the front door, and yes, the impacts going down, one more, and yes, both of the bunkers going down here. And we have Zerglings in the main of QXC. Will QXC be able to defend against this? I'm not really sure, as these 2 Marines trying to micro themselves to oblivion, as we had 1 tank round going down on that. And here come more reinforcing Zerglings, as this 1 tank is left over. And we have SCVs coming off the mineral lines. That 1 tank goes down. This command center trying to turn into an orbital command, but I don't believe it's actually going to have time to do it. And QXC looks like he is in some serious trouble here, as we have more Zerglings actually coming in here to reinforce. QXC desperately trying to drop, but dropping them right there in the grass of these Zerglings, and finally putting these guys behind them. But Zerglings are all around, and we actually have that one Viking VTOLing down, and it looks like all the SCVs go down, and with it go the hopes of ROOTQxc. So Foan able to best QXC with that Baneling bust, as the harassment from QXC just really didn't do that much overall. So FoanWang able to go 2-0 against Team Root right there. So guys, hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit, as I'm actually going to be doing another series. I think I'm going to do the series from QXC. Not really sure. But either way, thank you so much for joining me today. And as always, citizens, stay safe.